Hello, everybody.
Hello. Someone copying the notes, or because otherwise I will do it.
Yeah, I can create the page if you want.
All right. Then
I will just copy the last meeting.
I couldn't hear you, Timo. I don't know if your mic's not working or you were just moving your mouth. Ah, okay. No, I can't.
And Timo, I cannot hear you, but maybe it's a problem of my ear.
No, I can't hear him either.
Okay.
I can hear myself though.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I had some weird headphone issues.
Okay, I published just a copy paste from the previous meeting. And it's here.
Ah, I was also you already created it. I didn't publish it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Do we have 3 drafts now?
Hmm.
So I did the same. Who will host this? Because somebody needs to do the introductory. Hey, abide by the policy stuff.
Yes, I like that.
Do you want to host, Ariel?
Oh, you like that?
No,
Well,
no,
I
actually
like
not. But
I like it too when you do it. I love it.
okay, the classic one is anybody here new today who wants to introduce
Yeah.
themselves?
Who would like to introduce
Okay.
themselves? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Please.
think so. I so, and I want to remember you that we have the hyperledger code of conduct, the antitrust policy. So please be nice.
And then the welcome everyone to the Aries Framework JavaScript meeting of 14 September 2023, as Timo always does.
Yeah, that's
Is
true.
there anyone new here that is here for the first time and would like to introduce themselves?
Exactly the same accent. And
Now we wait 1 minute and then we say, well, now I think I recognize everyone. You always wait a long time. Agenda. I remember from the last time we had on the agenda, but I couldn't find it now, was the OWF stuff discussion. We wanted to.
Yeah, actually, last time, yeah, last time we went until this did conv2. From my side, I don't have any news regarding that. Maybe we can start on the unless somebody has some other ideas, we can probably go through the next item that I think that was proposed by Timo last time about the sockets and the separating the storage layer, and also for the next releases.
Yeah. So, is there anything that happened for DidConv2? Like, should we discuss that, or can we skip it for this week?
No, because I have been working a little bit on that stuff that we were discussing last time about supporting to both did conversions in a certain protocol that it's I think it can work pretty nice. So we can filter on the message handlers by not only the message type but also by the did conversion they support. So I think it will work, but I didn't have time this weeks to make it or to make something significant, let's say.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Then we don't have to go into it. Yeah. I had these two topics, but maybe we can start with like the 050 release for a bit because we wanted to make steps with that. I think we have created a 041 release, and I think the next step is that we wanted to create a PR to drop node 16 and add revocable credentials in it, then create a release, and then we did conf 2. I think
Yes.
dropping node 16 support is dependent on releasing new wrapper versions, which has been going a bit slower than hoped because there have been a lot of breaking changes made, and then like all types of different wrappers had to be updated. And I just made a PR for updating Oscar to a first 030 dev release, which I think if we have merged it, we could also get that into AFJ and then just create an alpha release with it. I think that should work fine, right? That we can test it out with AFJ.
Yes, but we will also need the other ones, right? I mean the uncreate RS and
Yeah, I didn't have time before the meeting anymore to create PRs, and I'm like for Oscar, I saw that the like I think all the wrappers were also updated. Is that also the case for Anocrats RS? Like, are we in a state where we can make a release? Because I have lost track for a bit on like I think this is done good shape. That's something we
yeah,
can do after release. So is also the JavaScript wrapper up to date for Anocrats RS?
yeah. For uncreate RS, it's okay. I'm not sure about indie VDR.
Okay.
I
Um,
didn't
Andrew isn't
check.
either. He asked me about this yesterday. I don't know, was Parent working on that?
Okay, then let's look at Ariel, if you could maybe make a PR to update the version here to a dev version, then I'll make the release after that's merged.
Okay.
I think, yeah, and then we can just do the Python and the Rust and the JavaScript to a new dev version. This one is so like the last time we made the release is quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Like quite a while ago. And to be honest, wow, I don't know. I have no idea. Like there were some really big PRs merged related to Did Indie.
Exactly.
So like yeah, June 2nd, we updated to a stable version, and like the Did Indie stuff has been merged in. And I think there have been other PRs made by this is I think all of the Did Indie, and there have been PRs made. Oh, there is some updates to the JS wrapper from Andrew. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, like, how do we know if stuff is up to date? If nobody knows it, like if Andrew doesn't know it, and you don't know it, Ariel, and I don't know it, then I'm not so sure what the best strategy here is to
Well,
I
we
think
can we
for
can do the we can do reverse engineering. We can just test if it works, and if it works, it's fine. If I mean if tests pass. No,
I think
but
Andrew
probably
was specifically sorry. I think Andrew was specifically wondering if the React Native, if it was React Native ready and ready to merge.
uh,
yeah, because it
So that
seems
is not
like
the
this only
same.
updates the Node.js
and
Yeah, exactly.
wrapper, and not necessarily. So if we look at this method, for example, build nym request options. Okay, so it doesn't seem like it has any specific logic here, but it does need to have in the C++ layer. Yeah, so yeah, like this isn't updated with, for example, the changes from this PR. I don't know if there's more. Then probably there's also, like, in the get nym, there's changes to the response value, I would assume. So the React Native wrapper is not ready yet. And maybe the Node.js wrapper also not on certain aspects. This is update 2404, because this was still on like a dev version. Have we used that before, or like, do you know what's up with that, Ariel?
no, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe maybe we were using the 03 before, and we simply did not update to the 04 dev. I don't know about versions on in
03.
PTR actually. I don't know. It's very old.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we depended on a dev release probably then still for indie VDR. Okay. Well, that's good to update then. But then we need to get that updated. Update React Native wrapper with changes. Or okay. Anyone interested to pick this up?
Well, I'm interested on that. I mean, I'm interested, but not on picking it. Because I really want I really want to have the this new version of this 05 with the dropping Node 16 support, but I don't know. The do do you know if we can test it easily? I mean, I remember that we had a test application that when we were working on the shared components, uh, that one has some easy test to check if it works fine.
Yeah, we don't have it. I think Berend added an app to Oscar, but there were some issues with it, so he removed that again. So no, we don't have an easy way to test a React Native wrapper at the moment, which is a bit of a bummer.
You might have it still though.
I'm sorry?
Locally, we can check with him. He might have it still though, locally somewhere. Because I know that he does this a lot, so we should check with him. You mean the one with the buttons, right? Just the simple buttons to test every function, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what we can also do is just make the changes because there are some very simple changes here. Release it as a dev version, and then integrate it into AFJ, and then test it in an app, for example, just like by updating it. That's also possible.
Production.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will be better so we are not blocking the whole work just because of that.
Yeah, maybe I also had like a React example. I don't know. Maybe I also have an app repo still with the like the example setup, so we can look at that. Okay. So this is not the right document. All right. Okay. So I think that's it on the 0.5 release. And if we have the Anocrats version update PR, then we can also merge this one, right, Ariel?
Yes, yes. I think you can delete the other one because it was already merged. Did conv2 we are going to move it for 0.6.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and also I have a few other comments, maybe for the 0.5. I don't know if for 0.50, but maybe for 0.5x about the well, yeah, for 0.5 we can also mark in the SDK as deprecated. This was something that we were discussing some time ago.
Yeah.
We can mark it deprecated and then probably remove it from the main repo in 0.6 or I don't know when.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I would like to update the test suite to use the new components and to so the whole test suite for the AFJ is running on Ascar and Anoncreds and IndieVDR, so we can leave the ND SDK tests only for the specific ND SDK module.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. If you're willing to pick up the React Native stuff, I can do this PR by marking it as deprecated and updating the test to use Oscar.
Okay. That's a good deal.
David mentioned he wants to work on a new project that merges all the shared components together. So maybe in 0.7.0 we can start using that. Maybe in the SDK is the right term for it.
Wow. And we're back where we were.
Right there.
Okay, cool. Then I think we're there for the release.
Yes.
Let's
Well,
move.
there is, sorry, there is
Yeah.
another thing I would like to improve in the 0.5. I'm not sure if I will be able to do it. Well, if we are planning to have this release in around 2 or 3 weeks, I think it will be fine. It's about doing some refactoring on the message repository, so we can fully support the message pickup with it, because currently, I don't know if you remember, but the the message repository, which is the message queue actually that we are using for mediation and message pickup, currently does not support, for instance, filtering by key or by div. So this does not allow us to fully support the message pickup v2 protocol.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one either way, to make it a bit more resilient and like updated for like the v2 one. I think like if we get it in before these are ready, we can do it. And otherwise, I would just say like we do the 0.5 release and then we move on. Okay. Cool. Then anything else on the 0.5 release?
Not exactly for the 0.5, but we will also, I think we will need to consider as well some other, well, this time we skip the typical introduction of the regarding the community updates, right? I mean the other calls, but there is still some discussions about the did peer for and the did rotate and the and also for the community the community coordinated update about moving out from unqualified dids. So maybe we can think of incorporating some of those topics in the future releases. For instance, we can support the did rotate protocol. I'm not sure if in 0.5, but and also we can support the peer for the did exchange. So I don't know if, what do you think about working also on that?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Yeah,
I think it will be nice to have them at least when we incorporate DidCon v2 in the main branch, maybe for 0.6, I don't know. Anyway, they will not introduce breaking changes, I think, because it will be just adding a new protocol and supporting a new peer algo, so we can integrate it when we want.
I think breaking change would be when we start like using didpeer 4 as the default instead of didpeer 1, but exactly. We can delay that to like the next major release.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just if somebody wants to take on the work to implement that, then I think we can get it in quite soon. Otherwise, it will take a bit longer. I think for us, it's it would be mostly interesting to pick up once the didcon v2 support is there, because it helps with that, as you said. Or there's other frameworks that also implement it, so we can be interoperable with it. Yeah, so I think I don't know like what the progress is, for example, in Ecopy with regards to like supporting the DID exchange protocol with qualified DIDs. But that would be an interesting one to follow.
Okay. Yeah, for the did rotate, I know that Daniel Bloom was going to just do um, a quick implementation just to see if the protocol it's I mean if everything makes sense and it's easy to implement. But yeah, I think it will take some weeks before both are integrated into Akapai. And as I heard yesterday from Patrick Stas that they will also, for Aries VCX, they will also wait a little bit until everything is stable in terms of spec to integrate them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Nice. Cool. Then, yeah, let's move on. Are there any PRs open that need to be discussed, or quite a lot of PRs open, a lot of dependable, improve logging. I think discuss these are in progress. So I think we're good. Or does anyone want to discuss a specific PR? Okay. Then a topic I wanted to discuss. I don't know if anyone else has ran into this issue before, but we are now using implicit invitations in AFJ. The feature Ariel implemented. So like you can connect to a DID, and we use this in the mobile holder wallet to connect to the DID of the mediator. So you don't have to hard code an invitation URL into your wallet, but we just connect to the DID of our mediator. Problem here is that if you connect to the mediator over HTTP, you will send a DID exchange request message. But because implicit invitations don't have auto accept, because otherwise it would just be open to all, it will close the session because it doesn't have a response message. Then we will have like an event handler that sees like, okay, we have a request message that was incoming, and then we accept it, and then we send a response, and then the mediator will queue the response message because there's no open HTTP connection to the client anymore. So it now works for us because we changed the default protocol to WebSockets. So even the request message to the mediator will now be sent over WebSockets, and the WebSockets will be kept open. And this is a bit of a change in behaviors that an HTTP connection will be closed if there's no response. A WebSocket connection will be kept open if there's no response. I was curious to know if anyone else is using like this implicit connection flow, especially with a holder wallet when connecting to a mediator, because it doesn't have an endpoint yet, and whether we can introduce some changes to make it work. I think there are some changes we could do. Like A is we allow to keep the HTTP session open for a longer time, and we can then manually close the session if we know like we don't want to respond to it. We could create some auto accept flow for implicit invitation still, so we automatically respond. But maybe there's also alternative approaches. So yeah, it's curious if people have some thoughts on this.
Well, as you know, I don't have this problem because we are using WebSockets for the mediator. And what we are doing is to handle the connection requests, events, and then if the request is sent to a public PID that we have as the public one, we just accept it, right? So maybe it can be useful to auto accept it, but it will not solve the problem for all the cases. So I will say that it would be nice if we can either delay the socket close, I mean the HTTP socket closing. Like for instance, we also do that for the WebSocket inbound transport, but because currently we are trying to in AFJ in the default inbound transport, we are just closing immediately the WebSocket if there is no response associated to it. And instead, what we are doing is to not close it, but starting a heartbeat ping. So we will keep it open for a few seconds. And if no other messages are sent through it, we will close it. Or if it's already closed, we just close the session. So maybe we can do something similar for HTTP, or at least to to add a parameter or something, just to indicate that we will not want to immediately close the HTTP session.
Yeah, that makes sense. And should we then have like we just say a delay, like we keep it open for X seconds, or do you want to see it more as like a keep it open until there's a response, as like a long pole approach?
It can, yeah, maybe that can be
you can pass a timeout, right? Because otherwise you end up opening it or keep the possibly keeping it open indefinitely, which you don't want. So I just say a timeout with a maximum value, which is I don't know, 5 seconds, whatever is feasible.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons we have opted also to close the session is that especially like we had this issue also with Ekapi, where it would keep the socket open on the server side, and then when we made a request in AFJ, like the request won't complete, and we don't know whether we will get a response. So we would have to set a timeout, and after like 10 seconds, we would have to abort the request to the server because we don't want to keep our HTTP socket open forever. And then we just had to assume that the server didn't have a response for us. But because we abort the request, we don't get like a HTTP status code back. So we wouldn't necessarily know whether the message was received correctly by the server, because you like break a bit of the request response flow.
In this case, we're talking about AFJ as this server, right? Or as both?
Yeah, as the server. Well, the client,
so I
AFJ
think
client can connect to it, but it is AFJ the server here.
Yeah, exactly. Now, well, I think as a server, the server is responsible for returning a status code. So I would say, I think just a variable timeout that is by default 0 is fine. And then otherwise, I don't know what status code you would return, but something that indicates that it's over or something.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. we could add a timeout. Yeah, or maybe something like a callback or an interface you can implement to like do some logic before HTTP session is closed. So by default, if you don't implement that interface, it will auto close immediately. But if you register it, it will call that before closing the session, and you can delay the session closing if you want, for example.
Yeah, but
then it becomes less a bit like a race.
You would like to do? But yeah, but are there other things you would like to do in that scenario? Because it makes sense if there are next to a set timeout, you want to run some other additional code. If that is not the case, if all you would ever do in that callback is set timeout, then I would just set a timeout.
Well, it's a bit of like it could prevent race conditions because if you have a timeout of 1 second and then the event doesn't fire just within, or like the response isn't created just within that 1 second, then you need to increase the timeout. But like if you don't have a response, then it will keep the session open for like unnecessarily long. So it would give you flexibility. And for example, we have a mediator that we would like to use it for, that we could know like, all right, we just received a request message from this from this client. We probably want to send the response message to this thing, and if we don't receive the request message, we will always just close it immediately. So then it gives like you the control to do exactly what you want and not keeping it open for longer than needed.
That's a pretty good argument, I think. Yeah.
It is also something we could auto build in, of course, because we know which flows you would probably want to do it, and that is if somebody sends you a request message for a connection because you want to respond with the response message. So you could also make it a bit more like that we whitelist some messages and we do it automatically. But that may be again more complex and maybe easier to handle by the user of the framework.
I think, I mean, you would have to then also, I mean, it depends on which protocol somebody has enabled, which modules and stuff, right? So I think that's cause a lot of like overhead.
Yeah. Okay. I think having an interface makes sense to me. Yeah. Then you can override it, and if it's not registered, then it will auto close. So like you don't have to configure anything. It's just if you want to do it, you can override it. Okay. I think this maybe could also be solved a bit more generically still with like we have like an issue open for like years already over middleware where you can like run something before or after messages handled. And I think if we solve this with the middleware, then this is something you could implement with it. But like we don't have to add a specific interface to solve this issue.
Yeah, middleware still a good idea. 060.
Ariel, did you want to say something?
No, I remember that issue. It's a good idea. The only problem I see is that it feels to me that it's a bit hacky. Let's say it's very good for the framework to allow to do this for different things. For instance, I would like to use a middleware to maybe to add a specific field for all outbound DITCOM messages. For instance, if I want to add a field like for DITCOM v1, for instance, we don't have the notion of send time. So if I wanted to have a timestamp or something like that for every message I'm sending, it would be nice to use a middleware. But for this case, I'm afraid that probably somebody else will have also this issue that you just found on HTTP. So if Okay, I know it's possible to solve it, but it's not evident to solve it by using a middleware or a I don't know a
But do
specific
you
callback
think
or something.
like middleware in general is hacky, or
No, the middleware the middleware in general
no? Right?
is fine. It's fine, but to solve this particular
But
problem, it's a bit hacky. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think it's a very weird problem, this one that Timo found to solve it like that. I guess that it would be nice if we can provide a solution more, I don't know, more explicit about it.
for this problem, yeah.
Yeah, for this problem, yeah,
Because I do think middleware is like it enables so much flexibility.
yeah, of course, yeah.
I
Yeah.
really like
So
that in the language.
middleware is nice, but maybe not the nicest for this because the this is not like more people will run into this. So we may need to have a bit more of a native way to do it, to not add more complexity in setting up like a
Well,
simple use case as like using a mediator with a public div where you can connect to.
well, I run into course problems every time I use Express, and they still it's custom middleware you have to put in. So it's a question of how far do you want to go? Maybe have like default middlewares or something. Because I mean, if
think
you're
for
not using it implicit, it's not a problem, right?
no, I think then this we have discussed this before, but like this would also solve it. Add option to auto accept implicit invitations, requests to implicit for certain dits. Like if I could like on a dit record, for example, dot metadata on the metadata or yeah another field like maybe a main property, but like allow implicit invitations is true, and I can set that. Or it would be a startup config, like the config would be like um, auto accept implicit or like implicit invitations for dits, where one could be like did web mediator dot animo dot id. This would also solve it for us in this specific use case. Like then people won't have to implement custom logic for it.
I think that's
Well, yeah,
probably a good fix for
yes,
now.
yeah. Actually, yes, I think it's a good idea.
Preference for I may lean to having a bit more of this because then it isn't like more storage that we have to do, but more like startup configuration.
I agree. It's also more visible, right, for the end user. Like otherwise, you have to look at the storage records in order to know which it's.
Okay. Then I think can solve it like this. Still keep option as middleware open, like we had 3 years ago also. And yeah, okay. Anything else on this?
I see the comment from Karima regarding the timing. Do we support it in AFJ, the timing?
I don't know. I don't think so. But it was just because you mentioned it. I was just thinking, there is a decorator for that, which is a cool sentence.
Yeah, I think that
Would be simple to support, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, I think the two you want to use is in time and out time, or time in, time out. The other ones are like, I don't know, you have expiry and stuff, but I don't see a lot of new cases for that.
I would
Yeah.
If there is a timing decorator, so I don't know what's the difference because you know that in DITCOM v2 there is a specific header regarding the creation time for a message. I don't know what's the difference between that and
So this is
when it's
more
just
like metadata around around the message itself. So for instance, you can say only respond, like you have to wait for, I don't know, an hour before you send a response. Or if you wait too long, you don't have to respond because the message basically expired. So it's more of protocol timing, I guess.
yeah,
This also has expired.
expires time and I think creative time or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think very simple, similar then. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's
Okay.
just a simplification, right? Maybe that in time, out time, tail time, delay melee, all that stuff. Maybe it's so too complicated for general purpose
I
cases.
think that's what you get when Daniel Hartman writes an RC.
There's definitely a use case for DITCOM satellites in space or something. His examples are amazing.
Cool. Then next topic is I added this one last time, but I still think it's interesting, and I also had a short discussion with Karim on it already. Like if we were to rebuild AFJ today, we would probably make it a lot less dependent on storage, because that makes it harder and you need to maintain the storage, and like supporting standards in your stack is different from also the storage with it. So something to consider going forward, if we can, like we already talked about making AFJ more generic, extracting the DITCOM stuff out of it and everything. Whether we can make AFJ truly agnostic to storage, and or like at least the core implementations, and then not that like the storage interface is pluggable, but more that it doesn't care about storage at all. So if you want to create an offer, you just provide the input fields, and then you get like a message back. And then you can send that message to a DITCOM connection, and to send a message to a DITCOM connection, you need to like provide the DIT, and based on the DIT, it can resolve the DIT document, and then it can encrypt the message and send it. And then when you receive another message, like you just need to provide, for example, the offer message that you sent, or enough data about the offer you have sent, and the message that you received, but it will not concern about storage at all. And I think it can probably make things simpler in the implementation itself if we move storage a layer up or like out, and makes it also flexible, way more flexible to be used as like lower level libraries and that sort of stuff. I was curious to what people thought of the general idea of this.
Just to clarify your idea a little bit more, do you mean, because indeed we had this discussion before, and do you mean like we don't do storage at all, but we have a interface that has, like, I don't know, a save or add or persist function that can be implemented, a fetch by whatever function, and that is like I implement that with that whatever storage mechanism I want. Because if we're just going to return everything, I'm just worried about how it's going to look for the end user. Because if I have to, like, if I just want to get a credential, to receive a credential in my wallet, and now I have to, like, for every message I have to persist it myself, that is gonna, I think, create significant overhead. Things like auto accepts are going to be, I guess, a bit more difficult because you're going to have to maintain some state somewhere. How do you have this in your, what's the vision here?
I think at least the base implementation should be without storage at all. So if you have, for example, the implementation of the issue credential v2 protocol, it shouldn't know about storage at all. But that you can build it on top, and we could like provide that stateful layer, like a default stateful layer on top. But I also think it makes it more complex to start, but it also if you need to build it all yourself, but it can also provide a lot of simplicity because like we store so much stuff that you may not need because like we keep connection records with a lot of like configuration properties and all these kind of things that we need to keep in storage. But that could just as well be like in a lot of cases dynamic, like statically configuration properties if I handle it in the business logic layer, because in the business logic layer we can be a lot less generic, and that also means that instead of like having to store 10 properties, we probably can get away with a lot less. For example, the connection record, we keep all like state from the whole process. Like in no application that we have ever built at Animo, we didn't create a connection at once, like do the whole process. And if it didn't finish like at once, then we see that as an error flow because it's like, it is a protocol, but it's not meant to be like finished in like separate steps. Maybe the invitation process separated from like the other messages in it. So I think 90% of the connection record is not needed to be stored in most cases. And mainly also because we use something like Aries ASCAR and we just like store a serialized JSON string. Migrations become very complex, and especially on like larger scale deployments, if we also talk about server deployments, it just becomes very hard to do because you have like separate encrypted records and you can do the migrations, and that means that we are limited in how easily we can make changes to the data structures in AFJ. Well, if you handle it on a business logic layer, it would probably be a lot easier to work around. So I think that's, yeah.
I agree with that, and I'm not talking about storage per se, but state in general, because if you're going to take out the entire state, like for an auto accept flow, before I send a message to, I need to know what message one was, and like if we're going to extract that all out and let that to the user, like then the user now is responsible for, well, it makes a message, now it has to send it in a message, wait for the next message, and do it like all those steps. Yeah. Hey man, you're here too.
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, I have been thinking about this quite similar thing. I feel that the record things and the statefulness, let's say, of the framework is a bit cumbersome for the reasons and as Timo mentioned, right? That we are storing basically state. It's questionable how useful is all of this state for all users, and migration is difficult. But I'm not sure if I see a solution as like separating the storage layer or like outside of the core, let's say, or broader core of the agent. But I have been playing with an idea of storing messages, because maybe it may sound a bit crazy, but I see like Ditcom is, to me, it's like messaging protocol, and like it's everything is about messaging. So we are exchanging messages, and everything we just keep in the state is basically, I think it should be basically derived from those messages. So I'm not sure, like, yeah, then, you know, I would probably throw all records, but I would provide storage for messages. and then you can derive the state based on those messages exchanged. So I don't even need like record state, connection record state, completed, requested, and so on. I just look at the last message in the flow, and I know where I am. Maybe, and that's a question like, how will it scale, right? If we have like a lot of messages, how to find easy, how to create that state based on those messages. But if you look at those systems like with event sourcing and stuff like that, I think the messages there that's totally different scale than what we are using right now, because the protocol itself, like usually it's just few messages in one exchange, so it shouldn't be about like hundreds of messages, I guess. I mean like within one communication way, right? Maybe if you have some thread with like chat app, that might be that may be a bit difficult, but then you don't need so much state. You know, you don't have to derive a lot of state from like chat messaging exchange, basically. Yeah, so that's
the problem is not the amount of messages, right? It's the amount of records you have. If you have like a big amount of records, you would it's sort of a little mini blockchain you're introducing, because you have to run all the threads. Like you have to go through all the threads to build up the current state where you are. I turn it around actually, because how many times do you actually need those messages? Isn't it more interesting to have the end result of a protocol exchange?
No, to me, yeah, I see, but I don't think so, because I feel like, yeah, that's nice, but I think it's hard to achieve it, right? It's hard to achieve it to know, okay, can I throw everything right now, what I get before, and can I preserve this as a final state? I feel like what we, and at least from our work, you know, what we are like, what issues we are fighting with it, it's usually like hard to find, okay, like, is it the correct state? What was but what was the message? Was the message sent? What, like, did we send it successfully? We are in this particular state, but we don't know about, like, you know, what was in the previous state. Wasn't the problem in there, right? And then I don't know. I feel like it seems like, yeah, it should be like that you have final state of the exchange, but I don't know. I feel like if it's 3 messages for credential exchange, to me, I don't see like big difference between one record for that exchange and having 3 messages or 4, or I don't know.
I think one thing that helps with messages is that it's quite easy to not handle storage per se in like the implementation, because in the implementation you just require the messages, and where the messages come from doesn't really matter. So whether the framework stores them or you store them somewhere else, that doesn't really matter, because I think for me, one of the things that I would also like to get out of it is like having more control over database structure and how entities are stored, because like if you let that handle by a framework, you lose a lot of the control. While if you can define, like if you then know, like, all right, when I create an offer, I get these objects back, and I need to make sure that I store them when I get a request, then you have more control over how that flow goes. But that doesn't negate that like protocol should work based on the messages, because that's then more of a detail, like where do you keep the messages.
Yeah, that's a cool idea actually, because then what you previously said is that you would maybe store the state in a different way. You would just define your own record and you know, give it some properties so you know the state. By doing that, you actually leave it up to the user, so they don't have to store the messages. They can maybe also do the exchange protocol, pass the messages to a service. The service tells you this is state completed or whatever. And then it's up to the user how they will persist that. They can just, I don't know, make a little table, credential issuance state, and set it to complete or whatever. But then you completely leave it up to the user. You just basically provide util functions to determine the state of a certain message exchange, if that makes sense. Interesting.
I think it's
Because I
a
think
very
for
interesting
yeah,
discussion.
ahead.
I guess that I would like next time to start with this, because I think it's very interesting, and also it depends on how we are using the framework, because as you know, for us with the chat application, for us, we exchange a lot of messages, and also for us it is the connection record itself. It's useful for us because there we can store, for instance, things like the user profile, the things that they support. For instance, if they support message receipts or media sharing and that stuff. So I think it will be a very nice discussion if we can continue in the next meeting. And also, I'm wondering why it's not possible to achieve something like that, but today, because we already have these interfaces for storage. So in theory, we could use any storage we want, and just because I'm talking mostly about what Karim said about using these interfaces of save and update and implement it by ourselves. But in theory, it's possible. But at the moment, I think there is a very strong relationship between the record storage and the keys storage. So maybe that's what we will need to rethink.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think it could be done like if we make records more like interfaces, which contain data, and it doesn't matter where you store them. That would already give more flexibility. But currently, like, you can implement it with all types of storages, but it's not really, because like it really works on like, all right, you have a JSON object as storage, which doesn't really work well with a lot of like relational databases. And otherwise you would have to really look at the internal record structure of all records in AFJ to be able to use that and map that. And if you want to use indexes, for example, on like certain rows that you query on very often, like that's currently not something that is in your control, and you just have to use the like serialized JSON way of doing it in AFJ with tags. And it's just not like how you would build any other solution nowadays. Yeah.
I know you mean to do something similar than we did for unknown creds, RS, which now it receives the whole object or the whole things they need. I mean, the library needs to process the credentials and whatever. So that leaves to the upper layer to do this job about querying and fetching data and that stuff. That could be more efficient than doing it internally.
Okay, we're already 5 minutes over time, but yeah, let's continue the discussion next time. I think a good discussion. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks then.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.